In Venezuela, the Global Forum for the Relevance of the Bolivarian Ideas of Commander Hugo Chavez continued on its second day, commemorating the 10th years since the commander's physical departure. 6 European countries called on the Israeli regime to halt the expansion of its settlements in Palestinian territories. And in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, authorities report that at least 25 minors and youngsters were abducted in northern border districts. Hello, welcome to From the South. I'm Luis Alberto Matos from the TeleSUR studios in Havana, Cuba. We begin with the news. In Venezuela, the second day of the World Meeting dedicated to the relevance of Commander Hugo Chavez's ideals took place in the framework of the 10th anniversary of his passing. The event at the Jose Felix Rivas Hall of the Teresa Carreño Theater brings together intellectuals, activists, political leaders, and representatives of social movements from all over the world, who discuss issues related to the vision of people's power, communes, the civil-military alliance, and decolonization. This second day began with the launching of the book Cuentos del Arañero in its bilingual version. Addressing the seminar, the leader of the Movement for Socialism and former president of Bolivia, Evo Morales, denounced the imperialist doctrine of the United States and called for unity among left-wing movements. To remember the struggle of our brother, Hugo Chavez, it is an impressive struggle. First as a leader, then as a deputy. I have heard so many accusations against Hugo Chavez of drug trafficking, of terrorism, and these accusations are still going on. I think one of the best projects left by Chavez, TeleSUR, for example, a media outlet which is the voice of the people. The Bolivian leader of the Movement for Socialism, Evo Morales, said that unity is the best way to face imperialism in the world. How can we guarantee this anti-imperialist, anti-capitalist struggle? Unfortunately, the West does not guarantee any people's freedom. Therefore, we have the responsibility to bring about this process of liberation, don't we? This fight. But it is with proposals, with social programs, the fight for equality, and that is a fight for the people. How beautiful it will be for this 21st century, a 21st century without oligarchy, without monarchy, without hierarchies. That is the struggle we have, and that is what we have to guarantee. What must we do to achieve that? Unity, unity, unity. The leader of the Movement for Socialism also stressed that revolutionary movements in the region are on the right track, and it is time to realize that the West does not guarantee neither development nor democracy. I see that we are on the right track, and it is a matter of revisiting that historical route, that struggle of social movements. But it is also time to identify the enemies, domestic and foreign alike. Look, if we pay attention to what is happening between Russia and Ukraine, we realize that the West has not been a guarantee for democracy. The West does not guarantee culture. The West does not. If it does guarantee culture at all, it is the culture of death. The West does not guarantee development, equality, social justice. Laurent Lumumba, son of Patrice Lumumba, first Prime Minister of the Democratic Republic of the Congo, highlighted the value of Chavez's ideas for the emancipation of the peoples of the world.
Yes, for me, is opinion of President Chavez. It's remain value because what he was struggled for is something it's value for all countries that they want to emancipate. The same value that Kwame Nkrumah make in Africa, Gamal Abdel Nasser, Gaddafi, and all of them. And he was defending almost the same value here in Latin America. So, for that reason, we continue coming here.
In Cuba, the legacy of Commander Hugo Chavez Frias continues to live on. This was expressed at an event organized in Havana by the Cuban Institute of Friendship with the Peoples, where renowned personalities honored the man they recognized for years as Cuba's best friend, a title bestowed by Commander Fidel Castro himself. Ambassador Adán Chavez spoke at the event from Caracas. To remember Chavez is to remember Fidel. We honor Fidel, we honor Chavez. For me, they are two closely related legacies to continue being an example, to continue being a force, to continue nourishing the struggle of our peoples. No matter what the North American imperialism and its allies do, they will not be able to defeat us. They have not been able to defeat Cuba after more than 60 years of blockade. They have not been able to defeat Venezuela, especially these last 5 years of intense persecution of all kinds of attempts to put an end to our revolution. On the contrary, Cuba and Venezuela, one single flag. Ecuador's National Assembly approved a report calling for the impeachment of President Guillermo Lasso for alleged acts of corruption. The plenary approved the report with 104 votes in favor, 18 against, and 3 abstentions. The non-binding report concluded that Lasso incurred in 2 crimes contemplated in paragraph 1 and 2 of Article 129 of the Ecuadorian Constitution, undermining the security of the state and public administration. At the same time, several social movements took to the streets of the capital city to protest against Lasso's policies and demand his resignation. In Chile, the Supreme Court sentenced 59 former officers of Augusto Pinochet's dictatorship to prison for the case known as Operation Colombo. In an unanimous decision, the second criminal chamber of the highest court overturned the sentence that had acquitted the officers and upheld the 15-year prison sentence for the aggravated kidnappings, mostly of members of the revolutionary left movement. The crime was part of Operation Colombo, directed by the military intelligence entity of Augusto Pinochet's dictatorship between July 1974 and January 1975. Operation Colombo aimed at eliminating 119 opponents of the coup regime and later reporting them as killed in combat in neighboring countries. The court also sentenced 53 former agents of Pinochet's secret police to 10 years and 1 day in prison. In Peru, security forces in the Puno region repressed anti-government demonstrations, leaving 5 people wounded. Reports indicate that all of the injured were shot. At the same time, local media reported that police forces threw tear gas from helicopters against demonstrators. Likewise, a large fire was reported at a police station in Juli. Meanwhile, citizens demand an end to violence and militarization in the region. Let us take a short break, but first, we invite you to enjoy parts of a concert held in Caracas in homage of Commander Hugo Chavez on the occasion of the 10th anniversary of his physical departure.
Luna de los valles, te fuiste enamorada de soldados danzantes hacia el norte. Compañera de vi roja, aquella noche de boinas luminosas. Hoy te cantamos, cabalgando tu luz sobre caballos negros.
Welcome back from the South. The United States Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene ramped up her rhetoric against the U.S. support for the conflict in Ukraine in comments at the annual Conservative Political Action Conference. At the Conservative Political Gathering,
A Republican representative targeted Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky during her speech, saying that the Ukrainian head of state wants their sons and daughters to die in Kiev. Meanwhile, Green described the conflict as the new Iraq, while reiterating her commitment to stop U.S. funding. Her remarks came a week after Green reintroduced legislation to audit all military aid the U.S. has sent Ukraine since the beginning of the conflict. In Japan, a government proposal to revert a declining birth rate has caused controversy among the Japanese people. The measure, introduced by the Liberal Democrat Party of Prime Minister Fumio Kishida, suggests alleviating student debt of the Japanese on the condition of having children. The statement stirred criticism amongst Japanese society, denouncing that it infringes on people's personal freedoms and that the proposal is far from reducing economic commitments. On her part, Senator Noriko Ichigaki said that demanding a child in exchange for paying off student loans is a bad measure to fight the falling birth rate in Japan. 6 European countries asked the Israeli regime to halt the expansion of its settlements in Palestinian territories. In a joint statement, the authorities of Germany, France, Great Britain, Italy, Poland, and Spain called on Israel to reverse the recent decision to move forward with the construction of more than 7,000 settlement units in the occupied Palestinian territories and legalized settlement outposts. These 6 countries recall that all Israeli settlements are illegal under international law. The joint statement came a day after the European Union's envoy to the Palestinians called for accountability and for the perpetrators to be brought to justice after illegal settlers went on a rampage centered on a village near the occupied Palestinian territory of the city of Nablus. A report released on Saturday by the United Nations showed that sophisticated weapons are being trafficked into Haiti, mainly from the United States and specifically from Florida. The report by the Vienna-based Office on Drugs and Crime stated that a network of criminal actors, including members of the Haitian diaspora, often source firearms from across the U.S. and smuggle them into Haiti illegally by land from the neighboring Dominican Republic, by air, including clandestine airstrips, but most frequently by sea. The report, entitled Haiti's Criminal Markets, Mapping Trends in Firearms and Drug Trafficking, further added that the U.S. Department of Homeland Security recorded a surge in firearms trafficking from Florida to Haiti between 2021 and 2022, and described the recovery of sophisticated weapons, including 50 caliber sniper rifles and belt-fed machine guns. In Malaysia, officials said on Saturday that at least 4 people died and nearly 41,000 were evacuated following floodwaters caused by unusual torrential rains lasting days swept through several states. The rains have continued unabated, hampering relief efforts. Malaysian Nature Society President Vincent Chow stated that these were the worst floods to hit Johor since 1969. Malaysia is facing unprecedented continuous torrential rains from the annual monsoon season that began in November. The Southeast Asian nation often experiences stormy weather around the year's end, with seasonal flooding regularly causing mass evacuations and deaths.
I have been stuck here in my room in the town, unable to go anywhere. Only today I've been able to go out. Everywhere here is flooded. I'm unable to go anywhere. I can only stay inside and eat bread.
When the floods started here, we couldn't get past it because the streets were full of water, so we waited for a long time and the water kept rising, so we had to take another way and walked far to get out. We only got out of the city in the evening.
Philippine authorities declared a state of calamity following the oil spill off the country's central coast. The mayor of the city of Pola, Jennifer Cruz, issued the emergency declaration in Oriental Mindoro Island. The official said the oil spill has negatively affected the fauna of the seabed and part of the beaches. The fuel has already spread more than 20 kilometers, reaching the coast of 4 municipalities in the region. The incident occurred on February 28th when a cargo ship carrying some 800,000 liters of industrial diesel partially sank, causing the spill. TeleSUR English continues to grow. You can now tune in from 33 different African countries through StarsApp. dial 461 and enjoy our Latin American alternative broadcast. One final short break and we'll be right back. Stay with us. Welcome back from the south. At least 25 minors and youngsters have been abducted in the north of the Democratic Republic of the Congo. The administrator of the Ango territory, Marceline Masale Lekabusilla, said armed men have attacked 3 villages in the chiefdom of Banda, where they abducted 8 children in Namambugu, another 5 in Samo, including 2 girls, and another 12 in Banda, out of which 5 were girls. All the adopted children are between the ages of 12 and 18. According to the regional administrator's report, the perpetrators, allegedly insurgents, have not yet been identified. They attacked the villages at 1 hour local time, and besides kidnapping the children, they looted houses and stores. The Supreme Court of Nigeria has ruled that the redesign of the country's naira currency by the central bank is invalid. Therefore, plans to stop accepting the oil bills had to be postponed. Last October, the government announced the plan to release new banknotes. It gave citizens until February 10th to swap out their old currency. However, Justice Emmanuel Ajmim said that the proper procedures were not followed and too few new notes were released. The central bank had argued that the redesign would tamper inflation, but 16 states soon brought legal challenges to the plan, saying they had not been given enough time to make the change. In this sense, the Supreme Court also ruled that the old notes must be considered legal tender until at least the end of 2023. Tunisia's trade union organization UGTT held the largest protest so far against a terror campaign led by President Kais Saied. Demonstrators denounced the different crises facing the nation, from the arrest of political opponents to the persecution of sub-Saharan migrants. The Secretary General of the UGTT, Noureddin Taboubi, claimed the need for a discourse that unites and does not divide, and even less one that demonizes union leaders. Citizens marched towards the Avenue Bourguiba, notoriously guarded by security forces, with slogans of freedom against the one-man government. In Iran, geologists discovered 2 lithium deposits in the plains of Hamadan province. According to specialists, the surface area of the deposits found varies between 5 and 6 square kilometers. Authorities estimate that the reserves discovered reached more than 8 million tons of lithium. With this discovery, Iran becomes the world's 4th largest holder of this strategic and scarce metal behind Bolivia, Argentina, and Chile. Lithium is one of the most demanded and expensive metals in the world due to its light weight, its limited existence, and the multiple uses it has mainly in the technological and pharmaceutical industry. We have come to the end of this news brief. You can find these and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net. You can also join us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Telegram, and TikTok. For TeleSUR English, I'm Luis Alberto Matos. Thank you for watching.